Narito ang programang totoong-totoo, Tambayan sa DWIZ. Programang magliliwanag ng ilang mahahalagang mga issue. Tambayan sa DWIZ. At ngayon, narito na sila upang maghatid ng saya sa bawat Pilipino. Sa programang Tambayan sa DWIZ.
Hello at happy Monday sa inyong lahat. Ako po si JP Varela, wala tayong video sa ngayon dahil I'm just using mobile data. Pero hinihintay natin na mag-log in dito sa ating online tambayan. Si Atty. Ahmed Paglinawa na siya ang nag-invite sa akin na sumali sa araw ngayong Lunes. So, kumusta kayo dyan? Siyempre, bigyan natin pugay yung ating mga kasamahang drivers, mga kasamahan nating mga housewives, at saka yung mga kasamahan nating mga tambay dyan sa kanto. Kasi tambay ito, programa natin ito where we can talk of anything we like to talk about. So, nasan kaya si Atty. Ahmed? You know, Pogi. Magsalita ka, Atty. Ahmed.
Hello, kumusta sa inyo lahat? Magandang tanghali. Medyo nagkaroon ng aberya ang internet natin dito kaya parang naayos po. Nilipat kasi yung mga...
Ako rin, I'm going there, no? So pag naka-connect na ako dyan sa iyong router at meron akong malinaw na signal, magkakaroon ako ng video. So pasensya na sa ating mga listeners pero I'm sure si Atty. Ahmed, maraming paon niya na pasabog ngayong Lunes. Anong pasabog mo dyan, Atty.?
Wala akong pasabog, yung kapugihan ko lang siguro ang pasabogin mo ngayon dito.
Ay nako, ini-disappoint ko naman yung talo tayo niya Perdito Paso. Laging handa.
Hindi, meron akong ikwento lang, pero hindi naman to sumasabog. Ordinaryong kwento lang muna. Yung nangyari kahapon. Opo, yung nangyari kahapon.
Ano ba nangyari kahapon? Sunday kahapon
yung Sunday kahapon doon sa Quirino Grandstand. Meron bang nakapunta doon?
Ano ba meron? Ano meron?
Yung pong concert at saka programa para sa pasasalamat kay Rodrigo Duterte. Sa kanyang pagbaba. Oo.
Nag-attend ka nun, Atty.?
Oo, ay napilitan lang naman tayo hindi naman napilitan, kundi kusa pa rin naman ako pumunta doon. Pero nakalimutan ko nga na meron ng gano'n na kahapon. Pero sa Trixie, kasi hindi nakakalimot yun. Ang programa ay magsisimula ng mga alas 4, alas 5. Alas 11 gusto niya lang umalis papunta doon.
Okay.
Mabuti naman. Maraming pumunta, mga kilala, mga vloggers na mga kaibigan natin, mga hindi vloggers, mga politiko, mga sino-sino. Maraming pumunta doon. At may mga artist.
Okay.
Nag-presenta ng kanilang mga talents. Masaya. At saka, pero hindi ko na naabutan yung Pangulo. Alis na kami.
Dumating pa yung Pangulo?
Dumating yung Pangulo.
Okay.
Dumating. At nagpasalamat siya sa taong bayan.
Correct. Ito yung maganda siguro pag-usapan from that event, Attorney, no? Alam ba ng ating mga listeners na sa kasaysayan ng Pilipinas, we're almost 100 years, no? Sa country? Depending kung saan tayo
lampas na.
Hindi, depending kung sino tinitingnan natin simula. Sabihin na natin nagsimula kayo, Binaldo. 100 years na tayo mahigit bilang bansa, tama? Sa buong 100 years na yan, ang ilang transition ng presidente pa lang ito na tila walang political enmity between the outgoing and the incoming. Sige nga. Mag-isip na.
Wala akong maala. Palaging meron eh. Kahit nung panahon ni Marcos Senior, medyo masalimuot.
Si Marcos, between Marcos Sr. and Mangkapagal, sila talaga head-to-head yun eh. Re-election bid yun. So, before, when presidents had 2 terms and 4 years per term, so walang presidente na nanalo ng re-election except Ferdinand Marcos Sr. And he was the last.
Marcos pa lang noon. And then si Gloria, let's just say she was validly involved in that kind of thing.
Yeah, but still, that is not a transition. That is a movement from herself to herself, di ba?
Yes.
Malabo naman tawagin natin transition.
Pero hindi, yung transition niya at saka ni
magulo yun.
Pero yung sumunod sa kanya,
yun, ang bata ni Gloria, si Gloria was Gibo Chudoro. At ang nanalo, sino yun na nanalo? Kulang na lang, mag-isnapan yun.
Tapos pinakulong siya after that.
Kaya nga, kulang na lang mag-isnapan yun nung inauguration.
Opo.
Alam mo yung paano sa Tagalog yung hiwi ba? Manghiwi, dila.
Belat.
Kulang na lang magbelat yun talaga eh. Nung inauguration ni Noynoy.
Pero nanalo naman siya, no?
Ha?
Pero nanalo naman si Gloria do.
Yeah. So the last transition na masasabi natin there is no enmity between
pinakulong siya
Ramos and Cory Aquino.
Yan.
And then this one.
Tama, Ramos and Cory.
Yes, and then this one. And in our entire 100 years of existence, kaya nga, and in our entire 100 years of existence, there was none.
Medyo wala nga.
Wala. As in, wala. Allows. So, this is something new and something, so maybe we can start off with that kind of discussion para maliw yung ating mga listeners dyan sa bahay-bahay at saka nasa ibang bansa.
At saka, nasan ka na ba, Chef?
Malapit na. Magpa-parking na lang. Apo. Sige, ikaw muna. Ikaw muna. Take over ko muna. Magpa-parking na. Sige.
Okay. Bakit mahalaga yung transition? Transition from one administration to the next. Kasi, ang adikain nga ng mga leader natin at saka natin, kapag may nakita namang seryoso na momentum sa ginagawa o mga programa ng isang Pangulo, ay nais natin na matuloy ito. Matuloy ito at mapaganda pa lalo kung maaari at saka kung sana talaga ay hindi maramdaman ng taong bayan na mayroong putol. Okay? Kasi lahat ng proyekto ay hindi mapipigilang may mga hindi matatapos sa terminong ito ng Pangulo na siyang nag-implement niyan at itinutuloy doon sa susunod. Hindi may iwasan yan. Marami pong ganyan. At kinakailangan dahil ay ginawa o nagkaroon ng existence sa pamamagitan ng batas. So hindi pwedeng dahil natapos na yung administrasyong ito na nag-implementa ng isang programa o project ay ititigil ng susunod na Pangulo dahil ang batas na yan, unless ma-repeal yan, ay in effect yan siya. Okay? So, unless ang nangyari nga ay parang revolusyon, yung nangyari kay Cory Aquino mula kay Marcos, ay revolusyon yun. Kaya ang nangyari, cancel culture ang nangyari doon. Lahat ng na nagawa, nasimulan, hindi pa natapos, at gagawin pa lang ay financial lahat ng Koreano. Mabuti ba yan? Sa tingin ko mali yan. Sa tingin ko hindi mabuti yan dahil ang away ng mga politiko, ang away ng mga politiko o maging ang taong bayan at saka yung dating presidente, kung meron talagang diktadorya, ganyan, ay hindi yan natatranslate doon sa mga batas. Kesyo gumawa si Ferdinand Marcos ng mga batas na siya lang at hindi kasama ang Kongreso. In other words, hindi siya democratic at saka representative. Pati yung mga batas na yun ay ay illegal din. Kagaya nga ng aming experience, mga laws ng aming mga professors sa UP na all of those laws, yung mga executive or yung mga presidential decrees ng Mr. Marcos ay valid. Bakit? Kasi batas, hindi pwedeng ika-cancel na lang natin lagi yan dahil nagpalit tayo ng presidente. So, yan ang unang importansya ng transition. Okay? Medyo naghahanghang itong ating video dito. May problema yata talaga ang PLDT. Hello, PLDT. Kamusta na po kayo dyan?
Naman. Madagdag ko lang dun sa nasabi mo na, no? Isang kasing hallmark of functioning and live democracy are just two criteria. Una, peaceful election, and second is a peaceful transition of power. Di ba? Textbook attorney, tama? Yun yung definition ng isang bansa ay merong tunay na demokrasya. Yung kakayanan magkaroon ng eleksyon na pinapaniwalaan ng karamihan to be legit. And second, yung transition between the winner of that election and the previous holder.
Well, yun naman ang kiniklaim nitong mga well, that has always been the claim of the enemies of the government. Na walang legitimate na democracy and ganyan-ganyan. Mukhang nakailang pakita na tayo na nag-i-election tayo at kahit na isa o dalawa doon merong talamak na magic na nangyari, nagkaka-election tayo. Pero doon sa isang meron bang palagi na meron peaceful transition, hindi natin peaceful pa rin dahil wala namang mamamatay, wala namang salvage na sumunod na presidente o yung at the end of the day, we're still paalis na presidente, pero yung having a new president that's sitting there and some of them sending the former president to jail, some of them are just magnanimously continuing the program of government.
Yes, para hindi lang tayo mag-feedback attorney, no? I will just go to a location where medyo maganda-ganda yung anyway, yun yung sinasabi natin kanina na kahit naman siguro magpilatan yung dalawang presidente, ang importante is yung pag-handover ng presidency or nung ating mga local government units, lalo na yung ating mga regional governments, no? Meron tayong mga governor sa baba, meron tayong mga mayor sa baba, all of them. Kahit na ano pa yung gaano pa kainit yung nangyaring transition, the important thing is the transition resulted to a continuance of the functions of government under a different administration. Parang yun naman talaga yung kumbaga parang pinaka sukatan, no? Nag-continue ba And sunod ba yung saligang batas? Tama ba ba yun, attorney? Kahit na at the end of the day, nagkakulungan. Di ba? Nagkakulungan sila at the end of the day. Mag-usapan yun, di ba?
In fact, napansin ko na parang naging tradisyon na yan, and I think it has become the rule na sa sobrang galit ng bagong presidente nga mag-assume ng administrasyon ay ang intention talaga at ang parang SOP talaga ay ipakulong yung nauna sa kanya.
Correct.
Yan ang role dito sa Pilipinas.
Oo. Pero hindi yan unique sa atin. Alam natin na nangyayari din yan sa South Korea. Di ba? Naririnig natin ngayon.
Marami sa Africa, ganyan, lagi ang nangyayari. Sa lahat, karamihan ng mga bagong bansa, dependent country sa Africa, ganun ang nangyayari.
Pero right now, this is very timely also kasi marami tayong mga Korean Pinoys. In fact, Pinoys na gustong maging Korean dahil sa kanilang mga K-pop idols. Right now, in Korea, yung iba nga, nagpapaayos pa ng buhok at saka mata at saka lahat. Pero right now in Korea, the hottest issue is, yung previous president nila ay binabarrage ng mga supporters nitong current president ng noise barrage, as in noise barrage 24/7. Hindi paramihan ng tao na sumisigaw pero palakasan ng speaker. At nung nireklamo sa bagong presidente na parang, papayagan mo ba yan? Ang sabi niya, kung hindi naman yan labag sa batas, wala tayong magagawa. So ang ginawa naman itong supporter nitong kabilang yung bahay niya sa Gangnam, pag Gangnam style, nagpapatugtog din sila doon ng 24/7 kaya nagagalit naman ngayon yung mga kapitbahay ng bagong presidente. So sa harap nung apartment building kung nasaan yung pamilya ng presidente nakatira, doon na naman nagpapa-noise barrage yung mga and this is not ordinary noise barrage as in kung mapapanood mo sa international news, talagang mini-measure na yung sound pollution. Okay? So that's still a hallmark of democracy. There was a transition of government pero ayun, what happens between the two factors, di ba, na magbulo, that's part of the game. That's part of the game.
That's part of the game. Pero yun nga, maaari tayong magprotesta, maaari tayo namang maghayag ng saloobin, and sometimes na mag-ingay talaga na annoying because of our constitutional guarantees on freedom of expression, speech, at saka yung freedom to associate and express our to get redress, okay? Pamamagitan ng pag-demonstrate, okay, pag-demonstrate. Pero the most important, I think, to me, part of the of any president's administration ay yung pagsimula niya at saka yung pagtapos niya. Okay, because everything in the middle, okay, or everything in the middle is not done by him alone. There is the entire machinery of the Republic of the Philippines as engendered in the Constitution para gawin itong lahat na ito na polisiya niya. Pero ang simulang-simula ay siya. Nasa kanya yan. Kung ano yung kanyang parang ni-exude na leanings or the inclinations, ay yun ang magdedetermine kung anong klaseng administrasyon to. Tingnan mo yung kay Mr. Noynoy Aquino. Ano ba ang unang nangyari sa kanyang pag-upo? Yung namatay lahat ng maraming insip. Nagbabaril doon sa sa Quirino Agracian, which is not funny. I'm sorry, but it's not funny, but it's funny for if we think that that's how he started. That's how he started by completely crashing to the ground. And then kay Duterte naman, unang-una kong maalala kong ginawa niya ay yung pinagalitan niya si Erap dahil ang dumi ng Maynila. Right after his inauguration, parang namasyal yata siya doon sa Maynila, nag-istorya yata siya at nakita niya, no, at nakita niya ng puro basura ang ang paligid niya.
Mayor Sierra.
Mayor Sierra Mayor ng Maynila.
Former president.
So makikita mo na there is that inclination there, that is what comes out of him when he on the first day that he sat as president. There is will, there is a will to tell something to someone who is a former president and a big person in politics for a very long time. Tell him na linisin mo yung syudad mo, diba? Okay. So that is a good indication of how an administration would be for the next 6 years, and then how he leaves or she leaves the place, the position. Tingnan mo, sino ang masasabi mo umalis ng pagka-presidente peacefully?
Peaceful ang umalis? Si Cory.
Peacefully meaning wala naman talagang nagkagyera except doon kay Cory at saka kay Marcos. Nagpalitan sila, and also for ERAP dahil may revolution na namang nangyari. But
si Ramos relatively peacefully.
Tama kasi
in fact ako, I would really believe Ramos was one of the most what do we call this? Hindi naman siya successful, hindi naman siya the best, pero siya yung pinaka-presidentiable of all presidents so far. No? He rallied the people towards a vision. That is one thing that I can really say about Ramos. No? He did not inherit a very good working economic machinery from Cory. Okay, let us not let us give it to Ramos that he inherited a broken machinery from Cory after the demarcosification of all things, na lahat ng proyekto na dahil kay Marcos yan titigil. So he inherited very, very bad engine. Kung sa makina pa yan, talagang pumupugak-pugak yung makinang in-inherit niya. But Ramos rallied people towards his Philippines 2000 vision. He made people believe that it is possible for the Philippines to be a rising tiger in the Asian economy. When was the last president who made people not see that we are poor? When was the last president na hindi nagdikdik sa atin na mahirap tayo, wala tayong magagawa? Ramos was the last one who really showed us that we can dream. We can aspire for better things. We can aspire for a better Philippines. We can work on it. And the economy grew under him. He was able to fix the broken economy that Cory Aquino gave him. Which Gloria
he started.
Yes. And Gloria improved on it. Yes, Noynoy improved on it. And if not for the COVID, Duterte could have surpassed every one of them. But it started with Ramos. Ako, I would really analyze it that way na the growth that we are experiencing, it started with Ramos. If not for him, we would have been I don't know where.
I cannot talk about presidents before Cory Aquino because during Marcos I was a Marcos baby. So 1975 ako eh. So I grew up with the awareness of what's going on, but I had no awareness of what the president was like. Nakikita ko yung sitwasyon that there was martial law, that there were people being arrested left and right, and my parents were being hunted by the PC and all that, and the hiding and all that stuff, the secrecy. Pero wala akong awareness about the president. I didn't know what he looked like and all that. Diba? Alam mo yan, maalala mo yan ganyan. I wouldn't know anything about Marcos regime.
Sige, attorney, para ma-excite naman yung ating mga listeners na pakinggan tayo after the ad break. Tawagin natin teaser for our next topic is apples and oranges. Why is it not proper to compare the presidency of Marcos and these sets of presidents? Magbabalik ang tambayan, mga kaibigan. Apples and oranges.
Muli nating balikan Tambayan sa DWIZ.
Okay. Good afternoon. And hi again sa ating mga kaibigan all over the world. Usapan natin ngayon, attorney.
Pabalik po.
Ano, apples and oranges o orange and lemons?
Well, we can always say na apples and oranges ay hindi ay ang expression. Nag-i-echo yata, nag-i-echo ba tayo?
Nakamula yung boses mo para hindi tayo mag-echo. Bulong-bulong lang tayo. Pwede yan. Oo, hindi naman natin kailangan magsigawan. Diba, Kuya Winner?
Oo. Hindi kailangan. Kasi yung ating boses eh...
Modulate tayo. Para matuwa naman ang ating mga kaibigan. Okay. Para hindi tayo mag-echo, mag-modulate tayo ng ating mga boses. Para hindi rin tayo makilala kung sino tayo nang sasabihin natin na ang pamumuno ni Presidente Ferdinand Marcos Sr. noong panahong dekada 70 hanggang 80 ay hindi isang demokrasya, kundi isang sosyalista. Tama po ba yun, attorney?
Totoo po yan mga... Well... Okay. Okay, kagaya ng sinasabi natin dati pa, ang mga programa ni Ferdinand Marcos, karamihan sa kanila ay socialist. Yung labor code, for example, na ginawa ni Mr. Blas Oakley, that is the most communist of what Marcos has done.
All over the world.
Almost all over the world. Our labor code is the most communist code of all.
All democratic.
All countries in the world.
Okay.
That is true.
Kaya, okay. Napag-isipan niyo ba kung ano ang justification nung claim na ang EDSA Revolution ay ang pagbabalik ng demokrasya sa Pilipinas? Teka, nawala ba? Yun yung tanong, di ba? Nawala ba? The return of democracy. Obviously, parang, yes, there must be some truth to that because the government that was replaced by Cory, okay, una muna yung ni-replace was an authoritarian government. And then after the authoritarian government ni Cory, no, yung revolutionary government from 1986 to 1987, it's an authoritarian government, the revolutionary government. Pero nag-give way siya towards the ratification of a new constitution which assured a democratic setup in government. Now, yung pinalitan niyan, what kind of government was it? Was it also democratic? What do you think, Atty.?
It was supposedly democratic.
In name. But in reality,
it was operating under a Republican principles that Republican, ibig sabihin may constitution, mayroong representation ng mga taong bayan sa Congress and all that. But so that it was not enough. That is why it started doing certain things in frustration. Dahil hindi niya naghihirap tayo, merong crisis, financial crisis. Hindi nakikinig. Kongreso sa taong bayan na iinis siya noon.
That was before martial law, but after martial law, remember the criticism about the election of the officials for the Batasang Pambansa was done by raising hands.
So, viva voce.
Yeah.
Viva voce.
Meaning, yung ating sinabi kanina, dalawang hallmark for democracy. Elections na credible and peaceful transition of power. Okay? The first requirement pa lang, credible elections. Can that ever be a credible election? Pero, okay, diretsin ko na.
sa communist system, sa socialist governments, wala naman tunay na election dyan kung paano ini-elect yung Politburo eh. By selection yan eh. Tama? So, ako I would rather categorize that last 3, 4, 5 years of Marcos regime. Okay, hindi kasi yan buong period ng martial law. Okay, there was a period from 1972 up to 1973 where it was a revolutionary government, and in 1973 they came up with a constitution. Diba? And that constitution didn't lead to any representation in legislature until 1981. Tama? So, that whole year of 1973 to 1981, that was martial law. And in 1981, Marcos gave back to Congress his legislative authority in the inauguration of the Batasang Pambansa. But the Batasang Pambansa, or the National Assembly, I do not know which one is which now. Ano? Where Cesar Virata became the Prime Minister of the Philippines.
Assembly and
National Assembly? No. But they came up with laws in the name called Batas Pambansa. Tama? BP. Tama ba yun?
Yung Act.
No. Republic Act yun before. And di tayo Republic Act. Meron pang Batas Pambansa number.
Batas.
Tama.
Which was revived later on before Aquino. But
yes.
What is important is that we call the congressmen as assemblymen.
Assemblymen, yes. And that was in 1981. Okay? In 1981, si Marcos relinquished his authoritarian rule na when we say authoritarian, he was the legislative and the executive at the same time. In that zona, na sinabi niya, I am relinquishing my legislative authority to the Congress, to the legislature of the Philippines with this Batasang Pambansa. And then he recommended the election of the Prime Minister right then and there in that zona where Cesar Virata became the Prime Minister. So in other words, that period from 1981 to 1986, okay, there was a different set of government. Okay? So kumbaga, iba yung gobyerno na nabuwag noong 1972 when the Constitution when the Congress was abolished upon the declaration of martial law. Iba din yung panahon from that time until na approve yung 1973 Constitution. And from 1973 to 1981 was a different government altogether. And we know that that's the martial law period. And then from 1981 to 1986, ito yung hindi na natin hinihimay kasi para sa mga tao, lalo na yung mga nagtuturo, that is still martial law period. No, that was not. That was not. Okay? That was not. And that was what led us to a downfall economically. Okay? Yan yung ilagay nyo sa utak nyo na yung panahon na yun was no longer martial law. Okay, 1981 to 1986 was no longer martial law. And the economic downfall ng Pilipinas, tingnan nyo pa dyan sa World Bank na data, bumagsak tayo ng 6%, 7% for 2 years straight in 1984 and 1985. And imagine niyo kung gaano kadali manghimok ng tao para pumunta ng EDSA kung magkasunod kang meron kang 6.7% at saka 6.9% na negative GNP growth for 2 years straight. Di ba, Tommy?
Yes.
Tara, mag-revolution tayo in 1986 because that what happened in 1984 and 1985. So before that happened, there was a new government in place. And that was now what we are talking about. What kind of animal was that? Was it a democratic government? Was it a representative government? Is it the democracy that we know? Because for me, yung primary yung pinaka-basic na requirement, hindi niya ma-fulfill yung credible election. Dahil yung taas-taas kamay lang. Diba?
Ingay lang, ingay.
Kung sino yung yun yung magiging representative dun sa Kongreso. And as we have always been saying dito sa Tambayan, ang kapangyarihan ng gobyerno wala sa presidente.
Nasa Kongreso.
Nasa Kongreso. Our sovereignty is expressed through our voices in Congress. Kaya napakahalaga ng ating mga senador at congressman. Sa totoo lang, sa demokrasya na alam natin. Yung presidente is just a worker bee. Tama ba ako, Torne?
Well, yes, that is correct. But that is nalilito kasi yung mga Pilipino. Inaan ka na ng boses ko. Nalilito kasi ang mga Pilipino pagka ikinikwento ng mga profesor at ay iba at ikinikwento ng mga commentaries ay iba rin. Pero kasama po yan sa isang malaking demokrasya. Pagka ang sinabi na mga may-ari, may hawak ng soberanya ay ang tambayan, ang poder ng soberanya ay ibig sabihin, ano ba ang pinakamalupit na expression ng sovereignty? Ito ay ang paggawa ng batas. O ang paggawa ng batas, so everything. Why?
Lalo na yung paggamit ng pera.
Oo. Kasi ang batas,
tax,
ay ang paraan kung paano gumalaw yung sovereignty. Okay? Yan ang expression ng action and will of the people. Yung ginagawa ng presidente ay sinusunod na lang ang will of the people.
Yes,
ibig sabihin,
executive.
Ibig sabihin, ang meron talagang power sa isang demokrasya ay ang legislatura.
Yes, and that is what they asked for sa king, sa mga kings noong panahon ng revolution na kung, di ba, before democracy, before, there were monarchies all over the world. All the revolutions started with the power of taxation. No representation, no taxation. Yan yung unang call, even in England. Tama ba ako, Tony? No representation, no taxation.
Oliver Cromwell.
Yes.
Oliver Cromwell.
It all started from that, no? It all started with money. Kasi yung powers of government to, yung police power, yung powers of government, attorney? The police power of the state, the eminent domain, and then what's the part? The taxation power. So, yun yung tatlong power na ini-exercise ng king noon na hiningi ng tao na we must have a say in all those three. Kaya tayo nagkaroon ng mga legislatura sa ating gobyerno. And yung legislature na yan only reduced the ruler or the president or the king for that matter as executives.
Well, in the case of the monarchs, titular na lang, parang ceremonial head. Ibig sabihin, siya pa rin yung ordained by God to represent the country or the sovereignty in terms of relationship with other countries, other sovereignty.
But anyway, marami kasing variation yan, kaya hindi natin maaring ilump into one definition. Kasi iba yung sa Japan, iba yung sa Thailand, iba yung sa England, iba yung sa Monaco, iba yung sa di ba? So, hindi natin pwedeng ilump under one definition. But definitely, legislatures hold the power of government. And how that legislature was elected, for me, is the primary consideration in assessing whether that country is democratic or not. Kaya, for example, China, Soviet Union before, Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. Okay, and each republic calls themselves a democratic, di ba? A democratic republic. So, may mga communist country na may democratic sa kanilang pangalan. So, are they really democratic and communist at the same time? Okay, discuss na natin yan. Communism is not about democracy or it is it's an economic setup in opposed to capitalism. So hindi yan yung pinag-uusapan natin. You can be democratic and communist at the same time. Pero ang socialist and democratic at the same time, can they go together?
Well, in the beginning, yes, because nature, socialism is a transitory form of a system of government. In fact, lahat ng communist, sabi ng Marx, lahat ng communist country will only become communist after they have gone through the process of socialism, increasingly becoming socialist, and then when you are all dead.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, Attorney. Socialism is the way towards communism.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
So, si Joma will agree with that?
He has no choice. But Joma doesn't know anything. He's a moron.
So, in this topic, we agree with Joma that socialism is the way towards communism.
No, that is what people who implemented communism in their revolutions, like Russia, the Bolshevik Revolution, China, the Cultural Revolution, Cuba, all of these things, they saw communism because of Lenin, because of Mao, that this is the way to go. It's socialism, and in fact, at that time when Marx just finished his book in Engels, socialist ang karamihan sa Europe. Socialist ang Germany. The Nazi Germany was a socialist republic.
Hitler was a socialist.
Hitler was a socialist.
And Mussolini was a socialist. And
Franco was a socialist.
China, Mao was a socialist. Tama?
Yes.
So,
yun eh.
in other words, at that time, in the late 60s, up to the late 60s, and even up to the late 70s, socialism is not a form or a type of governance that was known or shrugged upon. Tama?
Yes. It was a commonplace.
It was an in thing. Tama?
Yes.
So if Ferdinand Marcos pursued a socialist type of government,
yes, because
he was not wrong.
No, he was not. Definitely, he was not wrong. He was friends with Mao Zedong.
Correct. So in other words, hindi yun mali.
Of course.
Pero maybe now, it's out of place.
It may be,
hindi na uso. Kasi kung ngayon, magangampanya ka na, gusto mong magtayo ng socialist na gobyerno sa ngayon, wala ka na sa uso, tama?
Oo, laos na yan eh. Ayaw na
noong 1960s and 1970s, were you out of your mind for making this plan to begin with?
No, definitely not. It was the in thing. Every university, the students were doing it, the professors were doing it. They were all over the place. They were talking about liberation of women, strengthening of labor. Roe versus Wade. This is all socialist. And no one seems to be talking about that. This is reality. Everyone was a socialist at the time. Even America, during the time of McCarthy, was also socialist because their labor was the strongest party at the time.
Yeah.
U.S.
So if you look at the news now, and you will hear, what the hell is that Roe versus Wade thing? Why are they revolting in the U.S. about abortion? Look at the timetable. The Roe versus Wade was a 1974 decision of the U.S. Supreme Court. And that was also the time when we declared martial law. And that was the time when, so the in thing at that time was socialism, individualism, freedom from government intervention in your life, in your
Yes, that's right.
And not only that, that government should be assisting you in expressing your rights. Hindi lang na hindi ka pakialaman, kailangan protektahan ka. Iba yun na i-recognize na meron kang karapatan.
Non-intervention at saka independence, magkaiba po yun.
Hindi lang yun. Ito talaga, i-enforce. Tulungan kang i-enforce yung iyong kumbaga, i-facilitate na kakayanin mong na i-express yung iyong karapatan. And that's why when Roe versus Wade came out, abortion not only became not illegal, but to some extent, some states even took it upon themselves to really assist No, kumbaga, some people even demanded from states na, hindi, bigyan nyo kami ng paid.
Abortion centers.
Hindi lang yun. Meron kaming benefit. Later on, meron kaming pera pang matatanggap na assistance kapag magpapa-abort kami. Iba yun. So meron tayong legislated na yung paternity leave. Meron tayong lahat. Gawin yun. Isang frame of mind yan lahat. And that was not wrong at the time.
Well, until now, it is not wrong. All the good things we enjoy now, freedom of the press, in reality, because before then, yung freedom of the press was just a joke. Okay, it was a joke. Our Constitution followed the Constitution of America. The wording of our Constitution is not accidental. It is really completely followed from how the American Constitution is worded. Not all of it, but it's definitely almost.
But definitely from the variants.
So pare-pareho sila ng but all of the good things that we enjoy now, labor care, mga ganito was promoted by socialism. And the socialism of 60s and 70s na nangyayari sa buong mundo. Hindi lang sa Amerika, sa Europe, or sa Pilipinas. Sa buong mundo nangyari yan. And it was good. The socialism that happened during that time, now looking back, was good.
But it did not end well for the platform of government, no? Because as we know, Cold War resulted from there, and then Soviet Union folded up. They ended up not able to prove na kaya talaga ng socialism ma-achieve yung communism because of mathematical difficulties. Alam mo yun, at na-discuss na rin natin yan, that it is an impossible thing for a government to know the effect of one pothole to the survival of your submarines in the Atlantic Ocean. Diba? So, yung idea na kakayanin ng isang sistema to know everything and to address everything is impossible. So, with that, we know now that socialist dream may have had many good externalities, okay, side effects. But the cure that it promised is not possible. Okay?
Yes.
Yon. But that makes it, kumbaga, kung mag-a-analyze tayo ngayon, hindi natin pwedeng ikumpara like martial law versus now. Marcos versus Pinoy. Marcos versus Cory. No, those were two different sets of government. Two different pursuits. Two different platforms, two different boxes. Kung kumbaga po sa bahay niyo yan, itong isa, kusina ang punteriya, itong isa, sala ang punteriya. Iba.
Tandaan natin yan. At saka, well, may last message to our listeners is that while socialism was a new thing, yung capitalism was already kasama na yung mga tao because it was started earlier. So parang both systems were also being experimented on. Kasi wala pa namang successful na kapitalismo noon eh. Wala pang successful na socialismo.
Hindi pa rin failure ang socialism. Hindi pa guaranteed success ang capitalism.
So, noon, they were just really both exploring those possibilities, and we had two kinds of standing for each principle. But America, while being so completely, absolutely capitalist in their own mind, were not completely capitalist because they were using a socialist arguments and programs and policies in America that makes America what it is now. And here in the Philippines, we have the DSWD, the education system, ang ating even yung mga maternity leave, labor system, sobrang komunista tayo. And that is good. All of these things are good.
Now, bakit ba namin nasasabi na socialist yung kay Marcos? Tingnan nila lang sa pangalan. Ang Bagong Lipunan. Or in English, the New Society. The New Society.
New World Order.
Society called for a new social order. And that social order did not have any oligarchs in it. Bye!
Nope. Alam, ang susunod na programa ay ang ating Pilipinas ngayon.
Yes. Oh, kasi Pilipinas noon yung pinag-usapan.
Sama po dyan ay si Jose Roberta Rivera at ang Lady Eliza. Salamat po. Babalik po kami bukas sa Tambayan.
Tambayan sa DWIZ.